Hi everyone, Amos here today bringing up a video that is not on my channel, surprisingly. And I never thought I would leave this place, but here I am. So, bringing up the CGT team transaction for week 5, I believe. It was week 5, I believe. And yeah, so for those of you who doesn't know me, like I said, my name is Aimel. I am also known as Ice Cube enthusiast and or just lower tier lover. Here to bring you, like I said, the transaction that the coach made for this week. So obviously, this is my opinion that we're gonna hear about here. If you have something to say about me, say something that you didn't like, or like, oh, you said this is great, but it's actually bad. Yeah, 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 yeah. Or like, you said that this was bad, but it's actually good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Just leave in the comments, and I'll maybe not read it because this is not my video; it's their video. I'm just uploading this by myself, but I'm gonna give them the credit. Yeah. Also, I am not paid to do this. I'm working against my will. They capture me. They're like, Amo, you have to do this, otherwise you'll never see the light of day. And if you guys haven't guessed, this was obviously a lie. I wanted to be in there. Chris was like on Twitter, like, hey, we are looking for someone to do this. And I was like, hey, can I do it? Because I don't want to just be in the crown. I want to be on the stage for something, even if it's something minor like this. I want to be there. And she was like, yeah, sure, no problem. You can do it. Yeah. So this was what actually happened. Okay. So enough joke made. Let's now talk business and talk about what you guys were here for. So first off, we have Shaco King's team of the OK Rilla Boomers, where they're dropping the Gen 5 duo of late game burbs of Mendabus and Breviary, and decide to pick up Salamence, Sableye, and Oranguru. So, first off, what does Shaco King lose first? Well, definitely one of the best ghost resist in the game in Mendabus, with super bulky as longevity in Roost, and well, a strong flying type user, which I guess wasn't necessarily thanks to Mandibus' presence, but you never know because Bravery is a Pokemon that you cannot just ignore. It's super strong. And what does it gain from this transaction? It gains pretty much a Salamence. That's it. It gains Salamence. Because you know how good Salamence is. It has a crazy base stat total, Intimidate being one of the best abilities ever. It can be just a fearsome offensive threat with like Dragon Dance or even a special set or even mix. Summons can do a lot of things, even defensive role thanks to Intimidate. And its longevity in Roost. It's just a great Pokemon overall. And I know Shakokin did more than just getting a Salamence, but he's not really getting a lot from Sableye and Oranguru here, unfortunately, I would say. Sableye's best niche, I would say, is being strong against fighting and psychic types, not only because it's immune to those moves, but basically, well, it's because he is immune to this move. Actually, I'm lying. Like it's just devouring the psychic type that normally try to use fighting type move like Focus Blast to hit, but Sibila is immune to both. While fighting types, Scarf Edge are mostly limited to like knockoff, Rock Slide, or Earthquake most of the time, and Sibila as the bulk to withstand those hits, weakening them with Will-O-Wisp and keeping itself LT with Recover thanks to Prankster ignoring its extremely terrible speed issue. And here, it doesn't gain much from Sableye because if you haven't noticed Shaco's team, he is not afraid of a fighting type at all. Victini, Clefable, Nidoking, Spectrier, the newly acquired Salamence, all of them does not care about fighting type most of the time. So gaining a Sableye isn't much here. And as far as Psychic type goes, I guess it's useful that game Pokemon that can shut down most psychic types. But so was Mandibus, but I guess if he didn't jump Mandibus, then he wouldn't be able to afford Salamence. So pick your poison. Maybe you could have gone a different dark type to accomplish this role of strong against Psychic. But we see him using Sableye here. And for Oranguru, I believe it's pretty much just to have a normal type because it Sableye being the dark type, but part Ghost makes it a neutral to Ghost. So at least it has something. Not the most popular thing to popular or better thing to use for Ghost, but something nonetheless thanks to its immunity with the normal typing. Its second typing also helps despite doubling with Victini because it makes it neutral to fighting and as well immune to that Ghost weakness of Psychic being immune text to normal. Leaving only pretty much dark moves to be super effective on it, which wasting a move slot for dark balls on a ghost can be annoying if they do care about prepping for Oranguru. But it's also a matter that if Shogoken can slot in Oranguru because it has a lot of great Pokemon, they'll be a bit unfortunate to pass on one of them just to have Oranguru on it. But if he thinks he has a perfect 5, if they can add Oranguru just for that secure against Ghost type, sure, why not? Feel free. So overall, I don't think they're that amazing of transaction. I think I would give them like a 5 out of 10. Because pretty much you just gain. It's solely for the reason that you gain a Salamence on it. That's pretty much why I think they're still good, but not the best. So moving on, after Shoko King, we have Doctor Slacking and his Cotswold wins the cuts. I hope I say it right. Where we see him dropping High Dragon, Raichu, and everyone's favorite Water Rock type Corsola. How could he? For picking up the previously dropped Metabuzz, Duraludon, and also Vibrava. So, what does he lose? Obviously, Corsola, which obviously already is a problem in itself, as you guys should all be aware of that. Then he's losing, well, is Dragon Dark type Eye Dragon, which is normally a super strong Pokemon that can even be tanky roll next to Roost, and Raichu, which is not necessarily the greatest electric type offensively, but it does have nice coverage to make up for that. It can also be annoying defensively thanks to access to Wish. Not to say that it became immortal thanks to that, but it still has decent special defense for the flying type attacking on the special side, and those attacking on the physical side can get ruined by static. So a bit sad to see those three goes, but does he pick up allowed to compensate for it? Not really. Only one of them I would consider a good pickup overall, and that would be the Mandibus. Here, losing a dragon was an offensive dark type in favor of a more defensive one. I think works more in the team's favor here, since it allows Pokemon like Sylveon and Roserade or Beware to not be tasked with tanking ghost like move like Shadow Ball, since Metabus can devour them easily, making Sylveon and Roserade more adept to resist other moves that they will be tasked to take on the special side. Should also include Etran. Etran is bulky after all, and also it will allow Beware to not be deadly afraid on the switch or something if it doesn't take a Shadow Ball. So I think even though that's power that he lost, his team does not lack in the power department thanks to that Galarian Darmanitan, Landorus, and the previously mentioned special walls, which can dish out damage. So I think Metabus is a great backbone overall, and I think that's the only good potential this team did. Because the Duraludon, I understand of wanting a new dragon for dropping the Eye Dragon. Like I don't have access to like the site for the CET especially. So I don't know if there was something different you could have picked up or the Rolodon. Well, except for some, okay, I won't say it, but there was something else that was dropped that maybe could have been used to replace the Rolodon, but I don't know the order of those transactions. So maybe uh, Stacking did those before this other person that did his transaction. But I'm gonna presume that they all did it to the same time, so I'm gonna say they got pick up the Pokemon instead. But you don't know what it is, so good luck figuring out until you see it. Like Duraludon was considered disappointing when it came out. Like actually, I didn't saw the reason of why it was disappointing. I just know that it was. But obviously, as a steel type, no. But don't worry, he has E-Tram for that. Instead, I just see Duraludon steel typing to allow it to switch into more physical attacks, not named Close Combat or Earthquake. Keyword physical, because even if you're neutral to Ice and Fairy, Moonblast and Ice Beam will still one hit or two hit KO you at best. And you don't really want to run a max Dev Assault Vesta to compensate for your real special defense, because then you are lacking in power output and you are the type capable of eating fairies for super effectives, which would be a shame to pass on that. And then Vibrava. More like, why Brava? Like, he just picked out Duraludon for the Dragon, I guess. But you also react Landorus for the ground type. It's pretty much just for the sole purpose of ground type because Vibrava uses Outrage, and I think Outrage is a terrible move. And even then, it's a Vibrava. It has worse attack than Trapinch, its pre-evolution. I guess it can be annoying defensively, when- thanks to Eviolite and Roost, but it's Vibrava. Despite being a good type, if it can switch to many hits, you're not gonna be unbreakable. Nor if you're gonna be good at that. Like a lot of Dr. Cycling's team are good, and it would be weird to just pass on one of them just to add a Vibrava. Unless you're playing for a joke match, because Slacking is one of the top seed teams right now. So if he makes it, maybe he's gonna put Vibrava for last week, just because then he's gonna use it. But beside that, I still think those transactions are bad. I think they're better overall than Shockwell, because I think Mendebus fit his team way more than Salamence did for Shockwell's team. But they're not as many transactions. So I think I would still put. I think it would be a 5.5 out of 10 for Slacking. But now, going into more brighter notes, we now have Vepsis' team of the Helsinki Eye Dragons. And as you can see, he decided to drop Gudra, Kangaskhan, and Scrafty in favor of Eye Dragon, who was previously dropped, and is also his mascot pick, Regice and Sanity Scorch. So by losing Gudra, he lost that fat special wall with the dragon typing that is surprisingly resilient for what it is. Scrafty, which I personally think is a trap Pokemon, in the sense that you're seeing it as a ghost resist, but actually I think it's more like a waste slot in that case than anything else. And case content can fulfill a similar role. Thank you, my voice, over Scrafty, but even better, I would say. And White Games is by far, but I think better overall. So I just talked about about Mandibus being better for Slacking Steam, but I think here iDragon fits the team better. Like it's a strong special threat. Like he already had ones like Raikou and Prima Arena, but I like the speed of iDragon that can force the base 100 to speed crypt for it. So that's one reason for at first. And secondly, if he wants to run defensive Hydra, which I think is far better than defensive Scrafty, because well, both of them are getting annihilated by Fairy Move. And although a Dragon might not withstand Focus Blast, but Scrafty can. For in order to do so for Scrafty, it needs heavy investment, meaning that it's lacking in damage output hard, making it just an easy Pokemon to just switch out of. While Dragon can still hit quite hard, it also has longevity in roost, so it's not necessarily L plus throughout the course of a match, and it can even U-turn, predicting that said Pokemon wanting to switch out of it. So for me, that Dragon is a great upgrade for his team. After all, it's his mascot, of course, gonna bring positive over it. And then Regice, we're seeing good high special tankiness combined on this Pokemon instead. So it's actually not really losing it. Yeah, I think it's even an upgrade. Regice, like I said, it's a great special tank, so you can focus morely on physical bulk if needed, or even on special attack at that. Since special defense is high enough to allow it. And have like a pretty good restock set with like Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, or even Charge Beam if you prefer going for a weaker hit on Water type, but a chance to set up being potentially a win condition. Because as you may, well, at least should know, that Websis loves its restock set, and Regice is one of the better one at that, compensating for its lack of resistances the ice typing has. But yeah, I think those two are good fit for his team. Also, notice that I'm just praising those two, and I still have yet to talk about Snatty Scorch. I am a bit confused of why it picked up Snatty Scorch, because after the wave of positive review I just said, those two are held back because of this guy. For one reason, he has Talon Flame. Both may be a bit different, but they fulfill still similar. I had to say similar again hard, huh? What is it with me in this word? Well, yeah, I got Talonflame, so I don't see a reason to have Santa Scorch as well. I guess if you need one of them more over the other, but I feel like because I believe he could have kept the Kangaskhan, because I believe Kangaskhan is 4, so he could have kept the Kangaskhan instead of grabbing the Santa Scorch. I think if he kept Kangaskhan and just trade Good Dragon's Crafty for Eye Dragon and Regice, that'd be great. Losing Kangaskhan is a bit of a shame because I think it fits his team more than Centiskorp does. Because Talonflame, I know Talonflame is not great of a Pokemon, but I still think that having it is enough instead of having Centiskorch. So a bit sad that those transitions are held back, but they're still great. By far the better transition that I'm seeing right now. So probably gonna give it at least I would say 8 out of 10 because I think they're still good no matter what. Now, after finishing the first half, we're now ready to take on the second half, starting with JV and its Atlanta Victinis. Remember when I said about an order? Actually, did I mention that I did this in order for a reason? Well, actually, there was an order for Shackle King, Slacking, and Vepsis specifically because, as you know, Shackle King drop his Mandaboss, that drop Slacking pick up, and then he drop his Eye Dragon, that Vepsis pick up. But that's it. Those three were just the order necessary. So every other Pokemon that you're gonna see or saw before that have been dropped will not get picked up. So you can say goodbye to those Pokemon, unfortunately. So for JV himself, we see him dropping Alakazam, Corviknight, Heracross, and Dragon in favor of Yoshifu Rapid Strike, Noivern, Venusaur, and Torkoal. So first off, what does he lose? Well, at the beginning, as you can see, he originally had Lele plus Alakazam for this combo of Psychic Spam. Of Tapu Lele being a strong Psychic, but Alakazam being also a strong Psychic itself, allowed to use Expanding Force that Lele normally doesn't learn to have some coming mind blowing power. So but if you know the standing of right now, that JV isn't doing great, so you're probably figuring out that this strategy is not doing so well. Probably explaining why he is dropping Alakazam. Then dropping Corviknight is a bit surprising because it's just a great pivot overall thanks to his typing in lower speed. And as you can see, he's not picking a different steel type to compensate for it. So losing the defensive value of a cell type will be annoying, especially one that can just get out of the match to bring up a different teammate to help out for its lack of damage input. A bit of a shame, but I guess JV is comfortable enough to not have a steel type. I mean, I guess. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the case. Then losing Heracross was also quite surprising because Heracross is a great wall breaker because of the move that it has in close combat and Mega Horn being strong. Again, knockoff being good and Facade being great on gut set. Heck, he even learned Spike to make its attack more powerful and non affected by it, also for his teammates, which is it's like something great for Tapu Lele too, since it weakens the steel type that touches the ground even faster for it. And then again, losing Dragon, also weird because Dragon is just that one bulky dragon. They can take a hit on a support side with like Ruskin to punish physical attackers, even paralyze things down with Glare, which is also great for the Tapu Lele to make it more valuable with like a spec set. So those specs are for me the most confusing except for the Alakazam. So does he at least get to compensate for those drop with his pickups? I won't say no, personally. I mean your Shifu Rapid for your different fighting type is close enough, I guess. Both being as of similar attack, your Shifu having more attack, I believe. A also being faster. But it's also this Pokemon that gets heavily punished by Rocky Helmet because of Surging Strikes. And speaking of Surging Strikes, drafting Torkoal's Sun can weaken this move, forcing Yoshifu to spam more close combat and U-turn over Surging Strike, which at least I guess you won't get as punished as potential Rocky Helmets, I guess. But to say at least that he's not ruined by the Torkoal's Sun if he does bring Sun in a match. And speaking of Pokemon that will get ruined, but not that much by the Sun of Torkoal being Noivern. Of course, the only bad thing will to be bring down a Hurricane's already terrifying accuracy of 70 to a really nightmarish 50%, which at least Noivern learns each wave, which gets sun powered, compensating a bit for the Hurricane riskiness, I would say. So again, not the end of the world, but something a bit annoying to deal with. But then Torkoal's Sun and Venusaur itself. I think they can be a very combo overall. Like Tapu Lele fears the steel types, Torkoal can just come in for free and start setting up the sun. If they want to set up South Rock, Torkoal can remove them. If they want to Toxic, fine. It can just go into Venusaur right after that, or just stand up its own rocks or burn the opponent. And then for Venusaur, it's just that one Pokemon that you have to be worried about if the sun goes up. Like you can fire off powerful Solar Beams, Slush Bomb, Earth Power, or Weather Ball. Or you have to be wary about potential growth on the switch, making it even stronger, or even sleep power to put something out of commission. So it's gonna put Instinct to a different approach than originally. I still think that the trio of Corviknight, Heracross, and Dragon is a bit better, but I'm not saying that the four that I pick up are bad in any means. I think they're still good. But one thing that is still a bit confusing though is why Karkle is still on the team. Because now that he has Torkoal, Karkle is now 100% outclassed. Since both fulfill the same role, but Torkoal does way more over Karkle. Maybe he just wanted to keep it for like a mascot or something. Or like it didn't see a Pokemon that will get more value if he were to drop Karkle as well. Because I believe transactions are what you pick up and not what you drop. So I could have 5 Pokemon drop for 4 Pokemon pickup, which would have counted for 4 transactions. But at least I'm complaining on Pokemon that it shouldn't be that shouldn't even be brought like consistently. Like I think he brought it once, but I think he lost when he did. I believe it was versus Gravy to. I'm trying to remember them every match, but there's a lot of them. But I think there are by far better transaction over slacking, I would say. But for me, they're definitely lower than Webster's. I will put them a 6 out of 10 if it were me. So, up next, we have Malachi's team of the Montreal Melodics dropping their Incineroar, Articuno, Comfy, and Carbink in favor of Aerodactyl, Sneasel, Mimikyu, and Turtonator. So as far as tapping lost, well, he's regaining all of them in all of those four Pokemon, plus adding the ghost typing that he didn't have originally thanks to Mimikyu. So as far as Pokemon he lost, Incineroar is normally a great pivot thanks to his bulk, intimidate, and access to either parting shot or U-turn in preference. Arcuno can yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just at a loss of word. I'm not saying that Articuno's I'm not like trying to say Articuno's bad because I don't say anything. No, I think Articuno is can be good as a pivot. It's just not necessarily the greater one. As far as and Curvbank, it's bulky and has rocks, but that's pretty much about it. But it can sell Trick Room if he has a strong slower Pokemon. And Comfy was a bit helpless versus Steel and certain poison, but if those is or dealt with, it can be a deadly Pokemon with his priority draining kiss boosted by Calm Minds. So instead, it gained Aerodactyl and Sneasel's high speed and damage output potential, thanks to their stab coverage and also sub option, because they are a great move for filling those roles. Mimikyu, as far as the typing of Ghost and Fairy and access to certain being promising, Mimikyu for certain is a disappointment because it leaves a lot to be desired offensively, since its best attack isn't great and Shadow Claw is just pathetically weak for what it is. But it can make use of Disguise if he wants to, for like maybe a surprise Trick Room setter for like, an offensive Tangrowth or Swampert, maybe even Turtonator. And speaking of Turtonator, it can spin, which is good. You can shell smash, which can allow to outspeed the base, maybe 90 floating team, maybe. So for me, these specials are very mid. I think they are better than JVs. I would put a 6.5 out of 10, but I don't think it's anything amazing either. So we're just gonna move over and see for the final team, which is for me without a doubt the worst turn session of all six. It is something that the most confusing about dropping the best Pokemon of their team for no reason whatsoever in favor of Pokemon that they don't need at all. It is something that I'm at loss of words. I don't know what to say. It's just unforgivable. For those who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, I am just talking about this one person that did the unthinkable, the unforgivable. Aquarius, coach of the Chicago Strength Staff, dropping God Burb for Toracat. I mean, what the hell is this? It's Deli Borb. It's the most powerful hustle triple axle user there is. They can even use rapid spin to make itself faster. It can lay on spikes to make its attack and its teammate even more dangerous. And at when it's done, it can just take himself down with an opponent with a Destiny Bond. What does many of this Aquarius explain yourself at once? Okay, in all seriousness, I guess losing the bird, that was that's one potential suicide lead with the affirmation, spikes, and destiny bond wasn't to her interest. It wanted to pick up a Toracap, which is a decent, pretty fast fire type for what it is. It also surprisingly bulkier than one may think, thanks to Eviolite and Intimidate. and also having good pivot option in U-turn in parry shot like in Center Roar. Is that Pokemon that she's gonna use? Maybe once. You never know. I mean, she brought a Trapinch more times than I would expect it to be brought. It even is outperforming what I thought that Trapinch would do. So maybe we're gonna see the same with Torracat. But I will not forgive losing Delibird for it. But yeah, those are the 6 coaches with the transaction that did transaction that I went over. So as a recap, I would say that Vepsis got the better transaction overall, followed by I believe. Wait, did I put Matt over JV? I think I put Matt over JV. So Matt on number 2, JV for number 3. I will put, yeah, I did put Slacking over Shuckle, and then Shuckle, but like I just said, and then Aquarius for the worst. Because the transaction is just a big loss, if anything else. So yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoy my presence. You guys enjoy my and my and why is it with me and having English is hard in my analysis? There you go. And if you guys want to see more of me, I do have a YouTube channel, of course. I'm not uploading a lot recently, but I should pick up the pace soon. So I hope you guys enjoy this presence. I hope you will all follow the CGT and all of their coaches, of course, because they are the main star of the show, not me. I'm not here to steal the show. No, that's not my role. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the Champions of Galar channel and the participants channel as well, not mine. It's, you can maybe check out for like 1 second and then maybe leave. It's up to you. I'm not forcing you anything. Just be nice. Just welcome them with warmth. Do not thirst trap them or anything like that. And that's all for me. I wish all of you guys a great day or night, depending on when you're gonna see this. And I will talk to you guys another time on my channel. See you guys, everyone.